Everybody, this is Diane. Hello and welcome to Biters.
And this is Marnell, and who's a published author? You're a published author!
So are you!
Yay!
That's right. We should talk about the book. I didn't even think about that. It's called Pod Life.
Right.
And Rob Southgate is credited as the author, but it actually is a group project. He's the person who compiled it and put it together, and I suspect he probably has a chapter in it as well. But it is a group of podcasters who wrote about their experiences becoming podcasters, why they podcast,
how they got started, what keeps us motivated, and what we've learned along the way.
And Marnell and I wrote a chapter for it, and we wrote it a couple of years ago. So I was reading it and I was like, it's a little dated, but it definitely reflects where I was at the time. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put things on paper because they do get dated.
Yeah.
But you can currently get it on Kindle, and the paperback is soon to be released.
Yeah, it sounds like the paperback is still in the works, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, so check us out.
Yeah.
I'm a published author.
I totally forgot. I'm so glad that you brought it up.
I was thinking tonight, I was like, okay, so one of my local newspapers used one of my photos without crediting me, thank you. So I'm a photojournalist, a published author, a podcaster, and because I've watched Chernobyl, I'm a nuclear physicist. Yeah.
Did you notice that Sarah and Trevin made it into Fish Alaska magazine?
I did not.
Yeah. The extended part of the Real Housewives clan for anybody who cares.
Yes.
So our nephew and his wife and their crazy fishing adventures.
I think their boat is now, they got a bigger boat and it's called the Bigger Days. And I forget what their YouTube channel is, but they have some crazy fishing adventures. They reeled in over 100-pound halibut.
You should actually post a link to the halibut.
Oh,
that was a pretty funny video.
Yeah, you don't have to watch the whole thing, because it takes a really long time to reel in 100-pound halibut. And there's this whole thing of how do you get a fish into a boat that's pretty much bigger than you and nearly outweighs you? And then what do you do with it when it gets there? Because you're really supposed to kill it while it's in the water because it can injure you. And if people try and shoot them and it's on the boat, they shoot a hole in their boat. It's actually a frequent thing. So it's a funny video.
Yes, it's totally worth watching. I fully support you posting it to Biters.
Okay. I'm sure they'll appreciate that.
All right. So we're here tonight to talk about the episode Ghosts, which was season 10, episode 3. And how did you rate it?
I liked it better than last episode. It was not hard to choose a good, bad, ugly. I rated it a 4.5 Adonis-looking cats.
All right. I probably should rate it higher, but I gave it a solid 4.3 hollow weed plants out of 5.
What weed plants?
Hollow weed. That's what made Ross Aaron go blind.
Hogweed.
I thought it was hollowweed.
Hogweed.
I even looked at my husband tonight and I said, they said hollowweed, right?
No,
Jeez.
It's giant hogweed.
So I totally didn't even get my rating right.
Okay, so have you ever had an experience with any of the cow parsnips or
cow parsnip we have up here, and it's a photosensitivity reaction, so it doesn't activate the oil. You get the oil on your skin, but it doesn't activate until you have direct sunlight.
Yeah.
But then it gives you horrible burns.
Nasty chemical burns.
Yeah, I've seen people with 3rd-degree burns. I actually saw a patient whose burns were so bad that the physician I was working with took a picture for a textbook.
Mm-hmm. It's really serious stuff. That's why when Ross got it in his, or Ross, I'm referring to him as his character. When Aaron got it in his eyes, I'm just like, oh, like, this is gonna suck. You have one hand and you're blind in this zombie apocalypse. Oh man, like I don't think just rinsing his eyes out with regular waters was gonna do it. So, but yeah, hogweed.
Hogweed. Okay, so my rating is 4.3 hogweed plants out of 5. I'll tell my husband he had one job.
Oh, that stuff is nasty. We have, in the Pacific Northwest, we have something called Devil's Club.
Mm-hmm. We have it up here, too.
Well, yeah. I consider all of Alaska Pacific Northwest. But it's basically just a cactus. And I would rather run through a bushel of Devil's Club than I would hogweed. Like, oh.
When have you encountered hogweed?
We have it all over down here.
Really?
It's not the same genus. Okay, so there's 148 species of hogweed, and they all have varying degrees of phototoxicity.
Interesting.
Who did a little research?
Yeah, apparently not me, because I didn't even get the name of the plant right. And I'm the one who's not working right now, so I have no excuse.
I looked it up one time specifically because we had a dog get into some, and her face swelled up really bad, and it actually turns out she had an abscessed tooth, and it wasn't the hogweed. But
oh, how funny.
I went down a internet rabbit hole about giant hogweed and all of its genus.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Plus, I'm really interested as a zombie apocalypse survivalist about like plants I can eat and use as medicine and plants that will kill me.
So you actually can use Devil's Club as medicine.
Yes, the inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it actually tastes like mint.
It's just a matter of harvesting it safely.
Right.
Well, now you've had your fishing and botany adventures with us. We'll just wrap it up.
This has been Alaskan Herbological Hour.
So I have some numbers that were kind of a bummer. So the headline on TV by the Numbers was Walking Dead dips again. So they didn't have the numbers for the week, but it was number 1 overall for Sunday night, but it hit a new series low.
Again.
So, yeah. So it was 1.2 in the 18 to 49 group and 3.48 million overall. I gotta say, I'm losing my faith in humanity.
I still gotta think that it's a lot of people getting it on AMC online because not only I think aren't they getting it early?
They're getting it two days early.
But they're also getting special content that we're not able to see. So boo.
So I just really hope that's the case because that number bummed me out. And the thing that I wrote in my notes was Fear the Walking Dead made me lose faith in the Walking Dead universe, but the numbers for Walking Dead are making me lose faith in people.
So, but it's getting a ton of competition. Like Sunday night is the nights to be home watching TV. I watched The Watchmen.
How was that?
Oh my God, it is so good. Oh. Everyone needs to run out right now and get HBO. It is so worth it.
I'm totally not going to get HBO because, like I said with Shudder, I won't cancel it. I'll be lazy and it'll end up being something else that I pay for. So I'll just wait and buy it on iTunes.
You can do that, yeah. But I absolutely recommend, at least from episode 1. I mean, the first 10 minutes hooked me. I loved it. Like, wow. We were looking at each other the entire episode just going, I love the show. And we were like texting friends and we were like, you need to be watching Watchmen.
Wow. It's been a while since that has been a reaction to TV. That's pretty cool.
And I am so, so glad that they seem to be doing it justice, because it's so easy to translate big screen to small screen or vice versa and screw it up. So far, good for them.
Very good. Well, so, yeah, that's fair. Walking Dead has some competition. It's been on for a long time. A lot of people are not as diehard as we are. I know all of these things. It still bums me out.
It's those kids watching their TV online now.
Right.
Not paying for cable like a good American.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's a bill I've got to get rid of. Ugh.
I know, right?
Yes. All right. So the title, the more I dug, the more I thought the title was really apt. I mean,
yes.
You've actually got ghosts, like you see possibly Henry's ghost.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Daryl maybe telling that ghost story, but not really.
Uh-huh.
But then you've got like all these people who are totally haunted, like Sadiq's PTSD and Aaron's PTSD, and just the whole thing about Eugene's expectations about his relationship with Rosita. And
even Negan's wife is a ghost in this episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There were so many ghosts.
Yeah. So I thought it was a really good title, and I thought it encompassed more than just that kind of whole horror vibe that we're really seeing this season in Walking Dead, which I think is super cool.
Yeah. I mean, I did the same thing. It was really obvious in the beginning that it was, kind of the ghost of Henry and the ghost that Carol was seeing, and then it does definitely go deeper with the ghost story and Sadiq, and yeah, I agree.
And it had the feeling of a ghost story.
A horror movie.
Yeah, the whole episode had that vibe.
We will definitely talk about horror movies.
Oh, good, because I went there too.
Yeah,
probably not as deep as you did, but
here's a little hint. I'll never sleep again.
I think we were thinking along the same lines.
Right?
All right, so our writer was a guy named Jim Barnes, and he has written several things. He has 6 writer credits overall, but this is his first time writing in the Walking Dead universe. He was listed as a co-executive producer for 3 episodes of Walking Dead, so he's been with the series as a writer and a producer since this season started.
Very, very good debut episode.
Yes, I agree. And the things that I recognize that he had worked on: Gotham, Falling Skies, Nikita.
I watched the first couple of seasons of Revolution, and it was actually a really good show. I don't think I finished it. In fact, that might be what I actually should start now that I've finished the full 6 seasons of The 100.
Oh, gosh.
But Revolution was another post-apocalyptic, like... there was, I think, an EMP or something went off. There's no more technology or machines or anything like that. So, kind of, familiar ground.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Our director was a guy named David Boyd, and you and I were talking before we came on. It's so hilarious. I don't remember him at all. And we have actually talked about him several times because he has directed 10 episodes of Walking Dead, including Internment, which is one of my all-time favorite episodes.
Right. And we were just talking about The Lost and the Plunderers, which I loved.
So I don't know why I don't remember David Boyd. I feel really bad that I didn't. But I guess your brain can only hold so much information before some of it leaks out.
Yeah, I think that's probably part of the issue.
You brought up, and I thought this was kind of a cool tidbit about him, he's got a whole bunch of cinematography credits, and he actually worked on Firefly, which we both love.
Love.
Yes. So, good for David Boyd. And a continued tradition of good episodes. I thought he did an amazing job directing this episode.
Yeah.
I probably should rate it higher than a 4.3. I'm really feeling that right now. I'm thinking I've got to at least take it up to a 4.5.
Okay, so it was 4.3 hollow weed and 4.5 hogweed.
There you go. There you go. Exactly.
Oh.
All right. So our featured cast, which we did not do her last week in lieu of talking about her sister.
Right.
This week is Gamma.
Right. So Thora Birch. If she is looking familiar these days, it is October and Hocus Pocus is playing on a loop on a network near you.
All right. I have a confession to make.
You've never seen Hocus Pocus.
Pocus.
Oh,
I will tell you why. And I'm probably outing myself to all of our listeners because they have no idea that I'm like the liberal hippie that I am, right? So I was heavily interested in Wicca and paganism in my 20s and 30s. And I was really pissed off by the witch stereotypes. Mm-hmm. So I didn't watch it for that reason. I have never seen it.
It's a very sweet Disney film. It's funny. I mean...
Yeah, I know.
Bette Midler as an old witch. How great is that? Like, I'm sure a lot of people think she's a witch now. But, yeah. So, Thora Birch is... I remember her first and foremost from Hocus Pocus. But she's been in a ton before and after that.
So I will tell you, I mostly know her from her early stuff. So I remember her really strongly from Now and Then. I remember her really strongly from the Tom Clancy movies, Clear and Present Danger and Patriot Games.
Right, she plays the daughter.
But the thing that I remember her the most strongly from is American Beauty.
Of course.
Which I totally miss that movie. It's still one of my all-time favorite movies, and now I can't watch it because I would be sitting there the whole time thinking Kevin Spacey is a creeper.
Yeah. Yep. So
damn him for ruining one of my favorite movies.
Right. There's a couple of interesting things about American Beauty. She'd actually taken 3 years off of acting at the time. And when she read for the role in American Beauty, she immediately got the part. They had seen tons of other actresses, and they were like, this is the only person that can do this role. And she was 16 at the time, so I am rather uncomfortable about her nudity in the film now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a head scratcher. I didn't know that you could do that.
That was well, they probably did a body double.
Oh, that could be.
They may have, that's probably how they got around it. I haven't watched it in enough. It's been enough time that's elapsed since I've watched it that I can't remember if it was stuff where they could have used a body double or not.
Well, she talked about how she wanted to do. She saw it in the script, and she wanted to do the nudity because she didn't feel that it was gratuitous. She felt it was a very important moment between her character and the male lead in the movie, and so she had absolutely no qualms about doing the nudity. So, and her parents were completely supportive of it. So,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I did not realize that she was 16 when she did that. And then she talked about on a late night show how she was 16 when she did the nudity, and it was like, I didn't know you could do that. Okay.
Yeah, I would think there would be big liability. I would think there would be big issues around that.
Yeah, there has to be some trickery with body doubles or, I don't know, CGI or I don't know, but okay. But she actually got her start in commercials. She was in a Quaker Oats commercial, and she was also in a Just Say No to Drugs commercial.
And I noticed that she was in a couple of music videos.
Yes, fairly recently.
Yeah, more recent than the stuff that I know her from.
Right. Who watches music videos now, though?
Right.
Except, like, to look them up and show your friends on YouTube. I must send you something about Lizzo.
I know you're obsessed with Lizzo. I don't know why I'm not. I don't know why I'm not. I'm not hip enough. The
other Real Housewife of Alaska, her boss loves Lizzo too. So
really, the new boss.
Yep, the new boss.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So, but Thora Birch got her start in movies, The Purple People Eater. And she was actually she was only credited as Thora for like the first half of her career. So not Thora Birch, just Thora. And she was named after the Norse god Thor.
I kind of wondered that when I was looking up her name. I thought, well, it's interesting that Thora comes up first in my search and not Thor.
And she has a little brother named Bolt.
Oh, that's cool.
So her parents must be interesting.
They apparently are interested in paganism as well.
Or at least Norse mythology.
Right.
She was on a series in 88 and 89 called Day by Day. And she played the daughter, and she was in all 30 episodes of the show. And if you want a great 80s flashback, go down the rabbit hole on IMDb of Day by Day. There are so many stars that were in that show. I don't know why it was so short-lived, but yeah, it was just the hair and the clothes and the shoulder pads. It was great.
Too funny.
Yeah, I got lost down that rabbit hole today. And then she was she's been in a ton of like one-offs of TV shows. One of them being, of course, Doogie Howser, MD. No NCIS or CSI.
Or Law and Order.
Or Law and Order. Let's see. I was going to make she was in a movie called Alaska.
You know, I vaguely remember that movie.
I vaguely remember it too, but as in I saw that there was a movie called Alaska, but I refused to watch it. It's geographically inaccurate. It shows them in South Central Alaska, and they're saving a polar bear. So.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am, and I can say, honestly, no polar bears here.
Yeah, no polar bears.
Yeah.
They're about 1,000 miles to the north.
Yes.
But yeah, I think probably the next biggest thing I think that I know her from is from Now and Then.
That's what I know her from the best. I would honestly, that and American Beauty.
I think we've talked about this before, and I keep calling it Now and Later, which is a taffy candy.
Oh, how funny. Candy beansies.
So, candy beansies. So if I say Now and Later, I mean Now and Then. So she's been in a ton of actually really cool movies that I've meant to watch in the early 2000s.
It looks like she's done tons. I mean, when I was looking through her IMDb, I thought, wow, she's had far more work than I've credited her for.
Right. It feels like she kind of went away, but she didn't. She has been working, and some of these are they're films with other major actors and actresses. So Ghost World had Keira Knightley in it. I'm sorry, not Ghost World. Ghost World had Scarlett Johansson, and The Hole had Keira Knightley. But like I said, she's been in a ton of movies with Harrison Ford because she was Jack Ryan's daughter. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's got just a ton of big name movies with big name actors and actresses in them. And then she did 2 Lifetime Network movies, and you know how I love Lifetime Network movies. Oh my God. And she was in the very best one, The Pregnancy Pact.
Oh my God.
Do you remember me talking about this?
I kind of vaguely remember you talking about it.
So, like, a number of years ago, a whole bunch of teenage girls, and this is a true story, a whole bunch of teenage girls got together and they all decided that and this is when, like, Teen Mom on MTV came out. So all these girls got together and decided to be pregnant before they left high school. They were all going to be teen moms, and it was all going to be great. And Lifetime did a movie about it, and it is so unintentionally fun. She also did a Lifetime movie called Homeless to Harvard, the Liz Murray story.
That I've heard of.
Yes, it's also a true story, and it is a good story. It's about a girl who, of course, went from being homeless to going to school at Harvard. But yeah, so now she is Gamma on The Walking Dead. And I just found something on her Twitter tonight that I must share with you. So I had never heard of it before. It's called Cameo. So she posts a lot of Cameo videos on her Twitter thread. I thought maybe it's just kind of like a Vimeo or something like that. No, you can have celebrities record messages for you for a price. So you can have Thora Birch record a video for you for $75.
I just think that's crazy.
That's amazing. So Addie Miller is also on here, and Kari Payton is also on here. And Kari Payton's he's a little bit pricey. He's $195. But I don't know, $200 for a video message from Kari Payton might be worth it.
I would well, I was going to say I'd rather save my money and go to Walker Stalker Con, but we'll talk a little bit about that.
Well, okay, we can split the difference and we can go with Ross Marquand for $96.
All right.
But so it's called Cameo. So if you want to see an actor or athlete, there's famous comedians and drag queens, fashion icons. Apparently there's animals also that you can get to do a video for you. So
That is just crazy.
Yeah, man, that's $1 million idea. Somebody's making a lot of money off that website. That's awesome. So that is Thora Birch in a nutshell. She is Gamma. We only saw her a little bit this episode. She had a small speaking line, but I actually thought she was the one that Carol shot in the end, and I had to go back and rewatch to make sure it wasn't.
You know, I mean, it did that whisperer did look like Gamma. I can see how you would have thought that. Yeah.
And then they didn't mention it on Talking Dead, so I'm like, okay, I'm crazy like Carol.
No, you're just hallucinating or remembering things differently like Carol. We're not really sure which.
Because I'm snorting trucker meth, and I don't mean that disparagingly to any truckers out there. That's just what they called it. I actually have a friend who's a trucker, and he's a very nice gentleman and would never snort meth.
I would hope not, because that's so dangerous.
Right? I took Vibrant once for finals for a college class. Never again. That stuff makes me so nauseated.
Really?
Yeah.
So we'll get into what Carol was taking, because I'm not quite sure what she was taking.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right.
So Whisperer's Corner. Before we head into Whisperer's Corner, I just want to remind people, as if people would not know, Zombieland came out this week. Came out at the end of last week, actually.
I watched it.
How was it?
Okay.
We need to go this week, don't we?
You do. If you liked the first Zombieland, you will love the second Zombieland.
All right, we have to go.
It is hilarious. Now, on the opposite spectrum of that, I watched The Dead Don't Die. It was awful. Don't waste 2 hours of your life.
Seriously?
I can't even get into how awful it was. They didn't make it scary. They didn't make it funny. They tried to break the fourth wall. It didn't work. It was bad. I was so disappointed. And I don't know.
That is totally depressing.
It is. I mean, if you really, really want to see it, just because there are so many good celebrities in it, go watch it. But no wonder why we didn't get it in the theater here. I know. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Go see Zombieland.
Oh, that is super depressing.
Yeah, it is. But Zombieland 2 was hilarious. And there is an immediate thing that happens that's absolutely hilarious. It scared the crap out of me. I won't tell you what it is.
So there is a thing that they show in the previews, which I think is so funny. Jesse Eisenberg's character is sitting there reading a Walking Dead comic book, and he's like, this is so unrealistic. This would never happen.
He's doing that in Lincoln's bedroom, by the way.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah, we need to go this week.
You definitely need to go this week. Go see
Especially
Zombieland 2.
because this is my last week being an unemployed, lazy person, which I actually have not been lazy.
No, you have been very, very busy.
I've been like crazy busy.
And every time you talk about brioche on Twitter,
You think about bread.
I do. I think about bread.
Yeah. So that was actually something I was going to talk about. So I don't have any new podcasts to report because I have been obsessively sewing, knitting, and watching the news, which probably is not good for my soul, that last thing. But the other things are good. And I learned a new vocabulary word.
Oh?
Amigurumi. Have you ever heard of it? I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. It's a Japanese word.
No, and this is the little guy you texted me,
Yes.
right?
So it's the word is actually the word for crafting little figurines out of yarn. So like knitting or crocheting figurines. So I actually did the Demogorgon from Stranger Things.
Which you don't watch.
I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, even.
It's a Demogorgon.
So I did it for our great niece because she's really into Stranger Things, and I'm in love with it. It's so cute. I may have to watch Stranger Things just because of that.
It is. It's funny because there's this and there's like dog costumes of Demogorgons, and it's like, okay, guys, Demogorgons aren't supposed to be cute, but they're adorable.
They are adorable, and I'm totally gonna share that picture on Biters because I'm very proud of it. It's really hilarious. It's like I have made so many things with yarns throughout my life, and it's probably one of the things that I like the best of all of the things that I've made.
Okay, wait, I didn't realize you had made this. I thought this was somebody else's picture of when you were gonna make.
I made it.
Oh my god, you do have to share this. This is amazing.
That's why I was like, don't diss my skills, man.
No, I thought this was a picture of something you were gonna make.
No, I started it last night and put it together today.
That's your first attempt?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much. Now I have to share it.
Now you have to share it.
But I've been just making stuff like crazy and having a great time. So I'm actually going to have a really hard time going back to work.
No, you won't. You'll be glad to get out of the house, I think.
Oh God, no. So I have to tell another thing before I go into Whisperer's Corner. So I think we're going to foster a tripod dog. And I think we're going to foster fail and keep this dog.
Wait, like you're not going to now. Like it's going to be like, "Oh no, we didn't keep the horrendously scarred dog."
So this poor little dog, oh my God, her name is Magnolia. She was found by the rescue that we work with dying on someone's porch.
Mm-hmm.
She is supposed to weigh 10 to 12 pounds, so she's a tiny dog. She weighed 3 when the rescue got her.
Ugh.
And she had a horribly broken leg, a compound fracture, and that's why she is now a tripod, because they ended up having to amputate that leg.
Oh,
and she's adorable. So adorable, and she apparently has an amazing personality in spite of everything she's gone through.
Oh.
So I immediately jumped on Facebook Messenger and was like, sign me up for that dog. I will take her as soon as she's healed enough to join the pack.
There are so many rescues out there and places. I mean, just take the dog and tie it up at a vet's office. Like, you know, why just...
Seriously, that's one of the things that the rescue that we work with is really good about. If someone can't afford vet care for their animal, they can actually surrender the animal to the rescue. The rescue will take care of the vet bill, and then we'll rehome the animal.
Yeah.
I mean,
and, you know,
do amazing stuff.
I have actually, like, because our vets in the area, if someone posts on Facebook, you know, my dog needs surgery and I love my dog and I don't want to surrender it, but I don't have the money, you can actually call the vets directly and give payment to them.
I actually did that for a friend this past week because her cat ate her Great Pyrenees Rimadyl. Like a whole bottle of it.
What?
Her cat ate her Great Pyrenees Rimadyl.
And it's alive?
She was so smart. She induced vomiting with hydrogen peroxide and made the cat barf everything up. So she saved it from getting a horribly toxic dose of Rimadyl.
Wow.
But she had a ginormous vet bill, and she was like, I don't want to do a GoFundMe. And all of us were like, fine, let's just find out which vet clinic you went to and we'll just call and make payments on your bill. A whole bunch of us did it because she's just a super neat person.
Oh, man.
Okay, and now that this concludes our episode of The Mild Kingdom. I'm sorry, I just had to share that about Magnolia because she's so freaking cute. And I'm sure I will probably put pictures of her on Biters when she gets here.
Again, adopt a dog.
Adopt a dog or a cat, please. Subaru is making a big push to make tomorrow, or actually today, I guess, National Dog Day, where they want people to adopt a dog, a shelter dog. So I'm just putting that plug out there. And buy a Subaru because they're great cars.
Yeah, I've had a Subaru.
They don't die.
No, they don't. The dead don't die.
That's
dead
right.
Subarus don't die.
So, Whisperer's Corner is actually not very busy, given that I just spent a whole bunch of time talking about knitting and dogs. Sorry, you guys. I did want to say that Thomas O'Mara is going to join us next week to talk about his Fear the Walking Dead panel that he just did at Walker Stalker Con Atlanta.
That's so exciting.
I was like, Tom, you got to come on and talk us off the ledge, because he apparently had a great time moderating the panel. Which doesn't surprise me, actually, because those actors are great. We said all along that the terrific actors were not served by the season.
Right.
So anyway, it'll be fun to hear what he has to say about his experience doing the panel, because I think it's the first time he's actually moderated a panel.
I think so, too.
Which is kind of crazy, considering everything he's done.
Yeah, and he was working with the Squawking Dead. So... I know that they've helped him out a lot in that, so there's a plug for them.
And I don't know if we talked about this, but he actually posted his segment from the Superfan episode.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he posted it to Biters.
Never on social media.
I am on social media way too much. Right? All right, so the only thing that I have that's really news in Whisperer's Corner is apparently there was a big, ugly scene with Angel Theory at Walker Stalker Con Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah, so her friend, who I don't know who this woman is, I was going to look up her IMDb and I didn't. Her name is Nadine Marissa, basically went on media, various forms of media, and said that Angel Theory was verbally assaulted by a security guard at Walker Stalker Con Atlanta. When you read like deeper into the story, it sounds like there was a scuffle over her service dog. And she, because her hearing is so bad, she totally did not know what the security guard was trying to communicate to her, and he apparently kept yelling at her and just was more and more verbally aggressive with her.
Nadine Melissa is Nabilia in The Walking Dead.
Oh, is it Melissa or Marissa? I think it's Nadine,
Marissa. I'm sorry,
Nadine
Marissa. Yes.
Okay, gosh, I'm sorry that I didn't know it was Nabila, because I like that character. Anyway, it sounds like it was really ugly. They tried to get James from Walker Stalker Con to kind of run interference, and they were not happy with his input. It just sounds like it was really not good. And Angel Theory apparently has had trouble with Walker Stalker Con before. She accused them of not paying celebrities, which is actually why Kari Payton and Cooper Andrews broke with Walker Stalker Con. So I'm super bummed to have that news come out, but that was the only thing that was really news. I mean, the other stuff was all just clickbait and reviews of the episode.
Right, yeah. Comicbook.com has the article. Wow, that's really sad to hear.
Yeah. So... the only other stuff that I had in Whisperer's Corner is that Eric Kane's review was really positive. He felt like this was one of the best episodes of The Walking Dead in a long time. And then Paul Tassie's article this week was titled, Walking Dead's Angela Kang Miracle is that I don't miss Rick Grimes. And he basically talked about how he really thought that losing Rick was going to destroy the series for him, and he really felt like actually, because Angela Kang's done such an amazing job taking it over and making it over, that it's become rejuvenated for him, and he was really surprised by that.
I have to say that I am too. I mean, finding out that Andy Lincoln was leaving the show and that, of course, Rick was still alive in the comics, even though we had things like Carl's dead, in the show and alive in the comics, Andy Lincoln leaving the show, I mean, he was The Walking Dead. Episode 1, he was the show.
And they kind of were ham-fisted about the way that they handled his departure. Rick Grimes' last episode ever is when? Oh, it's like, it's coming in 5 episodes, 4 episodes. I mean, they made a big deal out of it, and it was kind of crazy and bizarre. And
of course, he's not really dead.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah, I read the Forbes guys articles this week, and I had to agree with them because the show's been good.
It's been really good. And that's, going back to the numbers, that's why I'm really, truly bummed out that the numbers are not as good as they should be, because it's phenomenal.
And that's why I can't believe the numbers.
I hope you're right. All right. So enough about the Whisperer's Corner and dogs and knitting. What's your good?
My good was never sleep again. Okay. So for those of you who know me well, or those of you who have been longtime listeners of the podcast, you know that the only horror movie that still freaks me out to this day as someone who is almost 40 years old is Nightmare on Elm Street.
That was totally the vibe that I was getting.
Yes! Because, yeah, you can kind of get away from, like, Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers or, Candyman. No, Freddy, when you sleep, you're dead. And you have to sleep. You can't not sleep. Obviously, Carol kept having, like, these little micro naps. And it was very well done because they didn't do it in like a surreal, dreamlike way. It was like, what is real and what is not real? It was just so well done. And then the whole, my dad's not a trucker. Oh God. It just, the whole thing was amazingly done. And I loved it because the whole dreaming and not being able to wake up or not knowing if you're still in the dream, that freaks me out so bad. And they nailed it in this episode. I loved it.
They really did. It was really amazing. And that was actually my ugly.
But it was a good ugly, right?
Right. So I will just go into it now so that we don't have to revisit it. But for me, it was totally the whole horror feel of especially the Carol sequences. Mm-hmm. And it was really, is it dream? Is it reality? Is she hallucinating? Is it really a ghost?
I really thought that was like either a whisper in that room right before she turned around and Henry was in the window. Mm-hmm.
That just gives me chills.
It was a girl with long hair, and she was just like, she had her head down and everything, and it also made me think of the movie The Ring, and yeah.
Okay, I think I'm revising my rating. 4.7 dead whisperers out of 5.
It just keeps going up.
It does. The more we talk about it, the more I like the episode.
That's funny. I have a feeling that you and I will probably touch on the largest 3. Like, I think when I tell you my ugly, my ugly will probably be something of one of yours. Yeah. So.
Well, and so the only other thing that I wanted to say, and I think I mentioned it earlier, is just the whole Daryl's dad story. I loved that because that is such a classic ghost story.
Yes.
And usually it's the form of the hitchhiker, and the person picks up the hitchhiker and then they like drive the hitchhiker home and they disappear.
Yep.
I mean, It was just that classic damsel in distress ghost story. So
Ghost on the Highway.
Yes, that's exactly right. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved that they snuck that in there. So
Yeah.
nice piece of writing.
It was so believable too, because of course his dad's a meth snorting truck driver.
I totally bought it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But now it kind of makes me wonder what his dad really was. Oh.
All right. So what was your bad?
All right. I did not want to get into this, but if you don't want to hear about my feminist crap about the friend zone being BS, skip ahead, because we have to go there, Eugene. Oh man, I am so upset at Eugene. Now I will preface this by saying he seems to understand the error of his ways, and he's going to take a good hard think about it. But that whole scene where he's like, there's nothing there. There never was. And Rosita's like, you think our friendship was nothing?
Yeah.
And he was like, our friendship is premised on my mistaken belief that perhaps someday I could change your mind. And and he wanted to get into the relationship zone. And I'm just like, oh God, like the friend zone is BS. You don't get to put kindness coins into women. They're not vending machines. They don't spit out sex or relationships. Like, just stop. Like, the friend zone's not a thing. It's a male construct, and it drives me absolutely nuts when people are like, oh, he was friend zoned. No, you weren't. Like, you're a friend. There's no attraction. She sees you as a little brother, whatever. Like, get on with it. Just because the one girl you like doesn't like you doesn't mean like all girls are bad. And I don't know. I did have a stalker one time, and it is not flattering, and it is not fun, and it is very serious.
I didn't know that. That's creepy.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you read about all the time now, where women are really, really scared to make men upset or uncomfortable about their feelings because we're afraid that you're going to go shoot up a mall because of us. You know, it's just, it's hashtag not all guys, but you know, it really just takes the one wrong guy. And, you know, yeah, it's a very scary thing. And I'm really glad that there was this confrontation, but I'm so disappointed in Eugene. And it made it, the whole scene made me feel really bad, because I felt bad for Rosita, because she has been trying to convey this all along.
Right. She has.
Yeah. And Eugene is a nice guy. You know, I don't believe he's going to go shoot up a movie theater or whatever. But, like, the whole thing made me sad, and it made me very angry. And, yeah, that was my really bad.
That really triggered you.
Yeah, it did.
No, and good on you. Good rant.
I've had several conversations with some guy friends about the friend zone, who
4.89 friend zones out of 5. Good rant.
So seriously, if you do not believe me, Google the friend zone is BS. Of course, spell out BS. And there's article after article of not just women but men telling you that this is not a thing. Stop thinking it's a thing. The friend zone is BS. So there's my uber feminist rant for this week.
Wow, my bad feels so small and inconsequential and socially meaningless compared to yours.
You didn't get any of that feeling?
I totally didn't. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I guess I've just never had that experience. So I don't have that as a trigger.
I was also so mad for him predicating their entire friendship on the thought that someday they were going to be girlfriend boyfriend.
Right.
And just that, like, I wouldn't have bothered if I didn't know you were going to sleep with me one day. Oh, ugh.
No,
I'm sorry.
I mean, totally powerful. And I guess I've just never had that experience. So it just didn't hit me that way.
Yes. I have had two wonderfully brief episodes of stalking, and neither of them were fun or flattering. Yeah.
You know, that's because the town that you live in is too small and landlocked.
Actually, one of the towns was Renton, Washington.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah. A guy followed me home from work, followed me home from the dojo, asking me out, and followed me home from the mall.
Ugh, gross.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, you followed me home from my dojo, dude.
Get a clue.
Right? All right. So what was your bad?
My small, not socially observant bad.
Right.
So I feel embarrassed even bringing it up now, but I can't believe that I've actually forgotten about this. What happened to the voice on the radio at the season finale?
The voice on the... Who was the voice on the radio?
Well, we haven't addressed it.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah, I had completely forgotten about that too.
Me too. It's not as big a deal as the friend zone, but I had completely forgotten about it.
No, but it's unresolved.
Yeah.
I think probably because all of... What was it? Episode 1 was the satellite, and then episode 2 was the whispers.
Flashback. Yeah.
It was all done in the same day.
Yeah.
And then we have these last 2 days where they're just battling walkers, and I think next episode looks like we're going to do another Meanwhile at Hilltop, and it's going to be the same wave after wave of walkers.
I didn't watch any of the previews for next episode.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I don't know that we will get an answer to that very soon, but that's an interesting question.
Yeah, so my bad is just that it's still hanging out there.
Unresolved issues.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm going to have to go back and watch the episode, season 9.
The finale?
Yeah.
All right. So I told you my ugly because it was your good. So what's your ugly?
My ugly is that it is peanut butter jelly time. I loved the Negan and Aaron show.
What are you, 12?
Oh, man. I love when Aaron's like, I'm going to take you home. Just the smile on Negan's face. He's like, that's the best freaking news I've had all day.
Right? He was really actively angling to not be out beyond the gates of Alexandria.
Right? He's just like, I'm here to pick tomatoes and bury corpses.
Yes.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And then their confrontation when they really got down to it. And
he brought up Lucille.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. Aaron's like, why don't you just leave? That's what everyone wants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, he's allowed to leave? Like, I didn't know that was an option.
Right.
He was a prisoner. Like, but I kind of think that that's just like, no, you either stay and you're a prisoner or you leave and never come back.
Well, and spoiler alert, that's actually what happens to Negan in the comics.
Well, I don't think he has really any place to go. I don't think he really wants to go. I think he really does want community. He just kind of wants to be the leader of it.
Or to have no responsibility other than really simple things like picking tomatoes.
Right. I love when Aaron confronts him, and the wording of it. The writing was really great. When Aaron, that look on Aaron's face, he's like, open that up. And Negan's like, you're not ready to hear this, And I loved what Negan had to say. If you don't protect what belongs to you, sooner or later it belongs to somebody else. That goes for your land, your wallet, your home, your country, everything. It's the story of America. It's the story of the whole goddamn world.
Did you feel like we were getting a little bit of a civics lesson?
Yeah. But it was
No, I mean,
legit.
it was okay. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, a little bit of painful social commentary.
Yeah, I cut out the parts where he's like, you know, you got to man up and protect what you love or whatever, because you need to woman up and protect it with the things you love too. If you're a woman, you know, and just the whole Aaron is like, you didn't think I protected him. Well, you know, you didn't protect your wife, and she died hating you. Oh, low blow, but deserved. Like,
They totally dug at each other.
man, yeah. And then I don't know how I feel about what Negan did, because he let Aaron get attacked and kind of slunk away, and Aaron survived and kind of found him or held up in that little house. And Negan came and saved him. And that moment of the blood dripping off of the crowbar and him looking at Aaron, and you could see the terror on his face. And Negan just looks down at Aaron, and you can just see it in his eyes. He's like, "You okay?" You know,
That was totally a Lucille moment, though. Looking at the blood dripping off of that crowbar, you could totally see end of season 6, beginning of season 7.
And there was that wave that washed over him after bashing something in the head with, you know, the crowbar or you know, pseudo Lucille. Like, he was still kind of processing it when he was looking at Aaron, and Aaron couldn't see him, but the look on Negan's face was just, I honestly did not know if this was the end of Aaron and if Negan was going to do something horrible again. And then he just was like, "Are you okay?" You know, like, just not, he didn't say anything. Like, yeah. Oh, it was so well done between the two of them.
I will say the only thing that I didn't like about it, because I didn't follow it very well the first time I watched it, was the whole blindness thing. I was like, what exactly is going on here? You know,
Yeah.
and they had to really spell it out for me, and I kind of thought, all right, I didn't really need that. That didn't really need to happen.
Well, I liked Angela King's explanation about it in the writer's room when they put that scene together, and how it, I mean, it happens quite a bit. I remember a story about somebody around here who was mowing the grass near our landing field at our airport and didn't know what giant hogweed was, and he took off his shirt. It was a nice sunny day, and he mowed down all the hogweed, not realizing that all of the debris that was hitting him was full of phototoxic chemicals.
Oh, how horrible.
Yeah. And that stuff, it like stays with you for almost ever. Like, you're photosensitive in those areas forever. Your skin like never recovers if the burns are bad enough. Ugh. So yeah, I didn't get it either. Because it wasn't obvious that they were covered in giant hogweed. But if you go back and you watch beforehand, Negan's got this huge rash on the underside of his arm right before they go into that episode. So.
Oh, that was the significance of seeing that rash on Negan's arm.
Yeah.
I totally didn't put that together either.
Yeah, at first, before I like took a close look at it, I'm like, oh God, did he get bit?
Well, the thing that I was thinking is, you know, remember how he always had a bandage on his arm?
Oh, yeah.
I kind of flashed on it and I thought, oh, they're trying to say something about why he always had a bandage on his arm. I totally didn't think about it being related to the hogweed.
Nope, it's
or the
hogweed. Yeah, so I love the peanut butter and jelly show.
The only thing I will say about the peanut butter and jelly thing specifically is I wish they hadn't said that line, that they hadn't shown that in the previews, because it was a really funny line.
It was really funny.
And it was still a great line, but I think it would have had more impact if we hadn't seen it repeatedly on season 10 previews.
Yeah, plus it puts the for some reason it doesn't put the peanut butter jelly song in my head. It puts the ice cream and cake song in my head from Baskin and Robbins.
I don't know that song. I don't need to know that song. Please don't send it to me.
Baby shark. Baby.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Actually, I've had Space Junk by Wing Chun stuck in my head, like, constantly.
Oh, so we've already been through You're Ugly.
Yeah, I think we're deep into rotting potpourri now.
I think so too.
So I will say right away that I thought that using the alarm and then using the screenshots where they were like hour 1, hour 19, I really liked the way that they advanced the story with those little devices.
Right.
I thought they were really
too.
Good.
Yeah, because at first, because they had done the chapters in an earlier...
in the premiere.
And I really didn't understand the chapters, but when they rolled through hour 1, hour 2, hour 5, hour 13, hour 27, it was just like, oh my God. And they got past 2 days, and it was just, that was just to demonstrate that nobody has slept for 2 days and they're all exhausted, and it was very well portrayed.
Well, and it was grueling, and I felt like it really gave us a sense of what the survivors were going through.
Yeah, I mean, Judith was like, I thought you said it wasn't safe to sleep until they were all gone, and that's true. I mean, I don't know how many people they have there in Alexandria that can take guarding the north and south wall, if not all 4 walls, 24/7, and just keep killing and killing and killing and killing. I mean, do you just do it until you drop, or are there shifts? What's going on?
Well, and interestingly, they may be foreshadowing something that ultimately happens in Alexandria if they stay true to the comic book.
Which you never know.
Right.
So, Gamma said that it wasn't them. Do we believe him?
I think that the rationale that, hey, the horde that the Whisperers had was so much bigger, so it really would have been worse if the Whisperers had been directing it at us. That was kind of the feeling that I came away with, so I think it was actually legit. Something else was driving the walkers to their walls.
Eugene did stand up in the middle of their meeting and was like, I think the satellite and the fire, and then he got shouted down by a highwayman.
Yep.
And so I was like, oh, yeah, the satellite and the fire could totally be bringing in waves of zombies.
Mm-hmm. It's possible that's what it is. I agree that it would have been worse. It would have been bigger if the Whisperers had really been directing their horde. Their herd.
Yeah, but I mean, they have such a large horde that, like they said, if Alpha wanted them dead, they'd be dead.
Right, they would just be overrun.
Then somebody was like, maybe she's doing it just to wear us down. Yeah, and you never know. I don't know what to believe.
Yeah, one of the things that is kind of confusing, and I think appropriately so, is that you don't really know what Alpha's game is, what her angle is, what her goals are. I mean, I was shocked that she let Carol get away with that assassination attempt and then was like, I forgive you, mother to mother.
Oh, and I wrote down something when she did that. They had, I think, Carol, when they interviewed her for one of the Talking Deads, she had said that Alpha is very animal-like in her movements and how she looked like a lioness, just like coming out and stretching on the cliffs and looking up and seeing Carol. And in this episode, there was just this head movement that she whipped from Michonne to Carol and was like, I forgive you. And just the motion of her head was just so animal-like that I was like, God, they really are animal-like. It's creepy.
Yeah. I don't know what Alpha's angle is. And I agree with you. I think we don't have a good sense of what she would do and what she wouldn't do. Which is good. It's keeping us guessing.
Well, and they're playing some sort of long game with taking away the land that they did. There's no bloodshed.
Right.
They didn't demand any bloodshed, but they were taking the land that's along the creek or something like that, and that apparently cuts off their hunting land. So, yeah.
I don't know. I think you're right. I think there's a long game. It'll be interesting to see how it all develops.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that 10 seasons in, we're still like, what's going to happen? I mean, I feel like there's tension and suspense in this series that was completely absent in Fear this season.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so the title card. Yes, that was the graveyard. They added the graveyard. Yes, you were absolutely right. They added flames on the bottom of the title graphic. And I think the new thing this time was the Silence the Whisperers graffiti.
See, I think that's been there for a while.
Really?
Yeah. So I did happen to notice that the CRM helicopter isn't there anymore. It doesn't fly out before the Rick and Michonne horses rearing up. That's been replaced by the satellite. And so I went back and watched the beginnings for 1, 2, and 3, and it actually disappeared from 1 to 2. So we didn't have it this time, of course, because it disappeared in 2. I didn't notice any difference between the opening title this time and from episode 2.
Oh, huh. I thought there was. I thought that the graffiti was new, but I would have to go back and look at it again.
Yeah, and I was looking for anything. I was looking for, because the lighthouse lights up, and the lighthouse, the thing with the pinwheel on it.
The, oh my God, the windmill.
Yeah, the windmill.
The pinwheel. I knew what you meant.
That plays a big role in this episode, and I thought, oh, maybe it's the lights coming on, but no, when I went back and watched the other 2, it happens in the other 2, so I don't know, I didn't see any change this episode.
Well, you're good. You do good research. I've been lazy. All right, so Carol and the pills. So it's a prescription, so it's not Viren. She's getting it out of a prescription bottle.
And tell me, please, what drug off the shelf has any sort of potency 10 plus years in?
That's a fair question. That's a really fair question. I don't know what the shelf stability of those medications would be. And I'm thinking about stuff like Adderall, Ritalin, Provigil, Nuvigil. Yeah. But, my whole question was, what is she popping and where did she get it? Yeah.
And can she get more? Because she ran out.
And she seems to have a little problem with it.
Yeah. And her problem isn't, like she said, her problem isn't the dreaming. I think her problem is her waking nightmare. I think she likes the dreams.
Well, but Angela Kang talked about it, and she basically said Carol doesn't want to sleep because seeing Henry and having that family, and that's her true nightmare.
Yeah, but they make her happy, and then she wakes up and they're not real.
She woke up and she was crying.
Because she woke up in her nightmare.
Because she woke up and it wasn't true. She woke up and Henry wasn't there. And I thought it was super interesting, and we may as well just go there now. Her happy family was Henry and Daryl.
Yeah.
And of course, Yvette Nicole Brown on Talking was like totally shipping the whole thing. I just thought it was really interesting that was her happy family.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just him and Henry.
Mm-hmm.
No King. Yeah, I thought it was, I immediately knew it was a dream. 1, when she woke up happy. And 2, the
whole I've got to go get jelly thing.
Well, the comforter was actually covered in little sailboats.
Oh, I totally missed that. Wow, that's a good Good detail.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't remember that from before. And the sailboats are kind of the call out of her being on the boats for so long. And then her just like gleefully going downstairs. And yeah, the money thing. I was like, he hands her $20 and she's like, "Are you sure the store's open?"
Yeah, that was totally weird.
Oh God. Yeah, that's when they kind of brought in the surrealistic.
Yeah.
But when she was in that school, it all seems so real.
I will say this is another thing about Carol and Henry. The whole just cruelty of having their meeting place be the Pike site.
Right? His necklace is still sitting there.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah.
Good, but horrible.
So, did you watch The Talking Dead?
I did. I was thinking today I should have watched it again because I didn't pay great attention to it.
So, one of their questions was Carol right to have shot at Alpha? Yeah, yes or no? And my thing was no. Like 86% people said yes, like 14% said no, and I was like, no, like wrong time.
Well, and it goes back to Nick's comment. She totally could have shot at Alpha when she was standing up on that cliff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah, but she's putting everybody else in danger.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm still really surprised that Alpha let it slip, and I think that's part of her long game, too.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I didn't make this my good, but I loved the whole thing where they actually fleshed out Dante a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I felt like he was really the right person to call Sadiq on his PTSD.
Absolutely.
It was a really nice moment.
Yeah.
It was good expansion on that character. I hope we continue to get more.
And he did it in a really, really right way. I mean, there's not always a right way to confront somebody about their PTSD, even if you have it yourself. But he injected a little humor, he told him his story. He didn't make Sadiq talk about his story. Like, it was like, dude, have you had training for this? It was very well done.
Probably as a combat medic, he did have some training.
Well, and I would like to think that he probably did seek out some of maybe a support group or something.
You certainly get that feeling.
Yeah, that he's kind of
on the other side of it.
They're always going to be there, but he's dealt with them and he knows how to continue to deal with them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see.
All right, while you're looking, I'll say it. The book.
Oh, God, that creepy book.
So awesome.
I love that they gave it to Carol.
To
Talking
Melissa.
Dead.
Yeah.
To Melissa, yeah.
So one of the things that I thought was really interesting about that cover is that when Carol sees herself and the kids that she's lost, the version of Carol that's on the cover is Ed's Carol. Mm-hmm. Short-haired, meek, perfect wife, hiding everything Carol.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
I can't believe she wanted that as a memento. It's so crazy.
It's pretty cool.
So, do we have a spy in Alexandria?
Why do you say that?
Because Alpha knew the 3 times they had been in her land.
Yeah, I wondered how she knew that. And I know that Angela Kang kind of covered it in talking, and I don't remember what Angela's answer was.
I don't think she totally covered it.
She talked about it.
Yeah, she said
I'm not sure that she gave a really concrete answer, but she did talk about it.
No, but so here's the thing. Like, it is possible that when they crossed through the land in the wintertime, that they could have been seen by a whisperer that was, left to I don't know, watched them. Or there could have been some evidence of them crossing that the Whisperers came across. When they crossed over, of course, to put out the fire, that was very obvious. And then she made a reference to Michonne and the man with the metal arm crossing into her land when they were searching along the river. And that had to be the fight that happened between Aaron and Michonne.
That's what I would have said.
So the only thing that doesn't leave me to believe that there is somebody who's a plant in Alexandria that's feeding the Whisperers back information is because only those two were there. And I'm sure they wouldn't go back and like chat about it with other people. So there had to have been somebody watching them. And I don't know if the Whisperers were back at that point.
Well, it was pretty obvious that they crossed the boundaries in the winter because they left all those shattered zombies. Remember that? Remember we talked about that?
Yeah.
That there was obvious evidence of them crossing that boundary. Alpha knew that they crossed the boundary when they were fighting the fire because she saw Carol.
Right.
So the only one that we really need to explain is the seeing Michonne and Aaron.
They just have to have small groups of Whisperers that follow anybody who leaves Alexandria, right?
They probably do have Whisperers posted as spies when they're in the area. I don't think they actually leave people behind when they migrate. I think they probably all migrate. I think it was just, those were really obvious breaches of the boundary that there was continuing evidence of that.
Right. But I don't know what gave me the feeling that there was somebody living in Alexandria that was giving information back.
Yeah,
but I
don't think so.
I hope not.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Okay.
So, did you feel like that little fake out where Sadiq kind of hesitates and doesn't say that Carol's okay was the series kind of trying to fake us out and saying that maybe Carol died?
I got the feeling, but it wasn't well enough done that
Yeah, I totally didn't have any
dead.
fear that she was dead, but that little fake out was like,
Okay, could you, if you were strung up by one leg, would you have the body strength to cut yourself free?
Hell no. But
right?
Carol is in much better shape than I will ever be. She has been running from zombies for 10 years. She's in much better physical shape than I will ever be.
Very true. She isn't eating the Halloween candy by the bagfuls.
Right? I mean, good Lord, I'm having to do planks and leg raises as part of my physical therapy, and I'm like dying. In fact, I still have to do it tonight. I'm like, oh, okay, I really do want to walk better, so...
Oh, speaking of walking, so something we've talked about before. So all of the bodies that they were cleaning up out between waves, why? Why don't you just lay them out as like just trip barriers? Just like stack 3 bodies on top of each other and just make a lot. And they're not going to be there forever. It's just until the waves, are gone, but it's an added barrier. You don't have to deal with the bodies right now. Like, just make a tiny walker wall, that they trip over. That's just my idea.
Well, the only other thing I have is there obviously has to be a consequence of that Whisperer turning. The dead Whisperer that turns at the end of the episode.
Oh, right.
So I don't know what the consequence is going to be, but I think we will see something that comes from that.
So one of my questions about her is, was she supposed to have a trap in the gym like that? Or was that just some rogue thing somebody did? Or was that something that Alpha wanted done? And 2, what's going to happen when, our friend is back, from the camp. And of course she's walking like a walker. And of course she's growling like a walker. And of course she's got a gnarly looking face. What happens when a real walker gets into a Whisper camp?
Maybe that's it. And maybe that will be something that triggers Alpha's group to take action against our group.
Yeah, she's definitely got shot. That's obviously a bullet wound to her gut.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
Well, that's all I've got.
So, have you re-rated it any higher?
I moved it up to like a 4.7. I can't make it a 5. It's not a 5, but it's very good. You definitely got me out of B territory and into A territory.
It was definitely an A episode.
Yeah, I agree. So all 3 of our episodes so far have been A episodes.
They've deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
So, keep it coming, guys.
I agree. All right, so when we go, you're going to post the halibut thing, and I'm going to post the Demogorgon thing.
Yep.
and oh, go ahead.
Next week, Thomas O'Mara.
And next week, Thomas O'Mara, and I just wanted to say happy birthday to Steve Baldwin. It was his birthday this week.
Aim for the head, Steve.
Yes, and Diana moderated 3 panels at Walker Stalker Atlanta, so I'm looking forward to hearing what she has to say when they record this week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Until then, just remember, take it one dead day at a time. Have a good week, everybody.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.